If you want to learn how to make this cool file folder folio and how to enter my birthday giveaway to win this one full of goodies, then just keep on watching. Hello my friends, how are you? This is Rachel from Sweet Bee Paper Co. Welcome to my tutorial for this file folder folio. It's super cute, glad you're here, and make sure you stick around for how to enter the giveaway for how to win this full of goodies, some packages of butterfly die cuts and stuff. So let's get into what we're going to be doing today. So we are going to be making this. I will give you all of the measurements and show you how to cut the folder down to get this. So we've got a paper on the back too. Sewing is absolutely optional for this. You don't have to sew it. I like the look of it on there, and I like the look of it on the inside too. So on this one, it's got a really pretty bronze color key, and we'll open it up. So we've got two smaller pockets on the right side here, two pockets in the middle, and then some side tuck pockets on the left hand side. So you can add vellum shorter pockets to these if you want. That's totally optional, or just have the bigger paper pockets. But as you can see, like, I can fit quite a bit of stuff into this, so everything you see will be included in the giveaway. So let's get into what you will need to make this little folio. So first thing you're going to need is a file folder. These are standard size ones that I picked up at the Dollar Tree. And so these are 11.5 by 9 without this tab on the top. So you'll need one of these, whichever or wherever the tab is, doesn't really matter, because we are going to cut that off. So we've got one of these. I did see where Dollar Tree is carrying these legal size ones, which I think are pretty cool. So maybe we could do a larger one with this, or maybe with a couple different fold outs. I don't know how available those are. I decided to use a thinner paper for my inside lining paper. So I have this graph paper. I picked this one up at Target. You can use this. I've got this other craft color graph paper I picked up too. I like using these because they're just a little bit thinner. You'll need some vellum if you want to do vellum pockets. And this is a great project to use up some of your single-sided scrapbook paper. So for the one I'm making today on camera with you, I'm using this Okie Dokie from DCWV. This is a super, super cute pad. Some other things you'll need are some glue. I'm going to be using a glue stick and some art glitter glue. I have these linked. A lot of the supplies I use, I have linked down in the description box for you, so it's easy to find. You'll need some twine, a charm if you would like a charm on the front of it. So I'm going to use a brad for the outside of it here. I use like this one plain one. I've got some with some little details on them, so that I want to try these out. I've got a corner rounder. I did round the corners on the flaps, and then a 1/2" punch that I use for the outside here. You can use whatever size round punch you have, or cut some small circles to use. And I'm also going to be inking the edges of the folder. That part's entirely up to you if you want them inked or not. I like walnut stain, and I've also used tea dye for this. And I actually used both of them on this one, and I think it turned out pretty cool actually. I think I like the different colors. Yeah, so let's get started. This is inspired by another creator here on YouTube. I will have her channel linked down below. She made something like this. It didn't really give a lot of measurements for things, and so I've got all the measurements done for you and how I've made it. And I've made, I think, the pockets just a little bit different than hers, but it is definitely inspired by hers. So I want to make sure, give her credit with her channel linked down below. So let's get started with the file folder. So I will be reading some measurements off to you for the what size like to cut the papers and for this file folder here. I may try to pop them up on the screen, but every measurement for these will be listed down in the description for you to check back to. And so the first thing we're going to do with this file folder is cut it. We want a 7-inch piece. So I'm just going to cut it down here. So 7 inches. And so these scraps too, save them because, I mean, do I really have to tell you to save them? I know you're going to save them anyway. We're going to use these for the little circles on the outside of the folder. Plus, I'm kind of starting to think about making a tag flip book out of these scraps from the file folders. So make sure you save those. So now that we've got this cut down to 7 inches, so here's our fold. This shorter side here, so see this side, this front flap is shorter than the longer flap in the back. This shorter side, we're going to cut that at 5 1/4 inches from the fold. So I'm just going to put my fold right here on 5 1/4 and cut. Save this. So this longer side here that's left, we're going to cut this down to 8 1/2. So we're basically cutting this curved part off of the folder here. So 8 1/2, and you'll put your fold on the 8 1/2 line, okay? So the next thing I'm going to do is score this longer side at 3 inches. You can use a ruler and fold it over. I'm really bad with using the ruler like that. I always get it crooked. So then I'm just going to fold that over. And we've got our little folio started. Coffee break. Okay, so next thing we're going to do, obviously optional, but we are going to round the corners of the outside flap and this inside flap. I like the look of the rounded corners. You'll also round the corners of the paper that sits in these spots if you want. So next thing I'm going to do is ink these up. And I'm going to, just to kind of get this going, I'm just going to ink all of it up with walnut stain. So you're going to ink everything on the outside and everything on the inside. And then don't be afraid also to ink a little bit in as well, because we'll have, the way our paper will sit on here is it will kind of be framed by this. So I am going to get this all inked up and I will be right back. Okay, I've got everything inked up, and I wanted to tell you too that you don't have to make this out of file folder. You can use scrapbook paper, but this is longer than a 12 by 12 scrapbook paper, so you maybe could use like the longer paper. But I think it's a good project to use for these file folders that you maybe have sitting around that you haven't done anything with yet, like me. Okay, so now let's talk about the inside lining paper. So your inside lining paper and your outside main paper, the measurements are the same for both because we're lining the outside and inside of it, right? For this left side flap, this will be 5 inches wide by 6 3/4 inches high. This middle piece, front and back, or inside and outside actually, will be 5 1/4 inches wide by 6 3/4 inches high. And the right small flap will be 2 3/4 inches wide by 6 3/4 inches high. I tried to keep or cut these down and make these so that they were kind of easier measurements. We're not dealing with the other measurements to keep this kind of easy. So you'll cut your inside liner your paper at those measurements and your outside paper at those measurements, okay? I like to glue the inside papers in first. So I'm going to, I just have this magazine I use for gluing to not make a giant mess. I'm using the Scotch Create glue stick for these. Especially with the thinner paper, you don't get those weird lines like using maybe a liquid glue unless you kind of spread it around. And I love this glue. Not had any good luck with other glue sticks. I know Pam at Paper Outpost likes this too. So remember what I said too, this isn't going to go all the way to one edge or another edge. It's going to be framed by your folder, okay? So kind of center it on your paper, and then I'm going to use, it's a little scraper, but it's like a credit card, old credit card, to smooth my paper down. So you can see that we've got a little bit of a frame of the folder around it, so you'll be able to see your inking. That's why I was saying don't be afraid to go in further with your ink. Okay, so then I've got this piece on this side to do, and I'm going to go ahead and round the edges of this paper on this side. Now also, like I said, if you want to ink your papers, you can definitely do that. I'm not going to, I don't really think it matters that much, but it would probably look pretty if you did that too. So now I'm just going to make sure I have the curved sides towards that left part. Get that down and get it smoothed down with this. It is looking good so far. And then now I will do the edges on this side. So the reason I'm doing this on the magazine paper too is because I'm going over the edges to make sure I get the edges of this paper with glue so it's not sticking up. So especially if you are not going to be sewing. Oh wait, did I cut this too big? Oh no, I cut it wrong. Hold on, I'll be back in a second. Okay, much better. I should have made sure I cut that right. I told y'all I've been sick. I guess that's what I'm going to use as my excuse. Let's try this again. It's also really important to make sure you get your measurements right, especially if you're going to be sewing around the edges and in here. That way you're catching all of your papers. Okay, so the inside line paper is done. Next, let's do the outside. So let's make sure I cut this one right. Yes. So outside right flap is 2 3/4 inch wide by 6 3/4 inch high. Trying to decide which way I want to put my paper here. So I am just punching the edges for that, and while I have the punch the edges of the left flap. And so the left flap measurements, like I said, is 5 inches wide by 6 3/4 inches high. This paper is actually double-sided. I'm not a huge fan of the other side of it. Otherwise, I probably would have found a single-sided paper to make this. I love finding single-sided paper projects because I think I have more single-sided paper, especially that Recollections. And then smooth that down, try to burnish that, glue in, make sure I got all the edges good. This is looking so cute. So I'm making this for my pen pal for her birthday in March, and her favorite color is green. So I wanted to make her something with green in it. So this paper works out pretty good, and we pretty much like the same things: woodland, mushroom, animals. So I know she will like this paper. I actually sent her pictures of this and another paper in the pad to see which one she liked better, Because this pad has this in black and white too, but I just love the color. Since it's kind of muted. There we go. So if you have directional paper, just keep an eye out when you're cutting it. So what I did, here's a little cutting tip for this part. Directional. Okay, so like this one's directional. What I did was from the top down. So this line right here, from top to this, not counting this whole part, I cut it at 6.75 inches. And then I cut 5 inches and then 5 1/4 inches. And then luckily with that one, I was able to use this bottom piece for the right flap. But if your paper's directional, you'll have to use another page of it. Or you can use a whole nother piece of paper. So like with this, I'm kind of showing you one color of paper. You could use different paper for the flaps and the back. You could use whatever papers you want for it if you just want to use your scraps too. So the way that I did this other one, this closure, this wraparound, another option for a closure is you could do some lace across the back of your folder before you glued the back on. Or you can glue it on the back here too and have it like tie around it. Just kind of like this, and just tie it closed. You don't even have to attach it if you don't want. You could just have it like that. I think attached would be pretty, especially underneath the paper. And so with these, since I'm kind of showing off the paper itself, I really didn't feel the need to decorate them. But you can decorate them as much as you want. Obviously, it's your folder. So let's get our pockets glued down. I am going to thumb notch on the pockets. That's entirely up to you if you want. Okay, so pocket sizes. So the left flap paper, which I'm going to use this side of it. This one is 2.5 inches wide by 6 3/4 inches high. The vellum piece, which you don't have to do the vellum if you don't want to, 1.5 inches wide by 6 3/4 inches high. Middle pocket, 5 1/4 inches wide by 3.5 inches high. Okay, the shorter vellum middle pocket is 5 1/4 inches wide by 1 3/4 inches high. And then I will have 2 little pockets over here. And these 2 pockets are going to be 2 3/4 inches wide by 1.5 inches high. Again, measurements are going to be down in the description box. And so what I'm going to do is I have my 2-inch punch here. And I'm going to do thumb notches in the left pocket, the right paper pocket. I didn't put notches on the vellum paper. I don't really think it needed it. And then I'm just going to do a really shallow notch on these shorter pockets. I didn't do it in the other one, and yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Also, this bottom right pocket, I'm going to make sure to punch that so it fits. So next, what I'm going to do, since I'm going to be sewing and catching all of these pockets, I'm not going to put a ton of glue down. I just need enough to make sure it sits where it needs to. So make sure you line your paper up with this background paper here. So the middle one, and for this I'm just using this art glitter glue. I like that, or Barely Arts. Both of them work really well. Right pocket. So as far as where you put this top pocket, think about this. In the middle is where we're going to have our brad coming through. So I kind of want that above that. So then put that thing there so remember where to put it. Okay, and then the vellum. So the vellum, I'm just going to do 2 lines on the sides and make sure I have it lined up really well with the other paper. Same thing on the left side. And then 2, it might feel a a little flimsy at this point, but once your glue dries, it'll start to like kind of harden up and feel a lot sturdier. I've got all those down. So now I'm going to go ahead and take this to my sewing machine. And so what I'm going to do is sew around each section. And I'm going to do it where this is what I'm looking at in the sewing machine to make sure I'm getting all of the pockets and stuff. So I'm going to do that and be right back. Okay, I'm back. Look at how cute this is. I love it. So I'm just going to trim some strings. I do not, ooh, I almost cut into it. Woo-wee. No. Next thing I'm going to do is take my 1/2 inch punch. Like I said, you can use an inch punch. You don't have to do a punch or anything like that. For this, it's up to you. I'm doing 2 because I'm going to glue them together so it's a little bit thicker. So I'm just going to take my glue, put a bunch of glue. Honeybee, what are you doing? Oh no, kitty cat. Hello, baby. Get. You're bad. Okay. And while that's drying, I want to mark the middle of this. I know, usually I eyeball this and punch it, but it, you know, it does look nice when it's punched in the middle. And I think the middle is at, no, don't sniff my coffee, is at, hello baby, I'm pretty sure the middle's at 3.5. Yeah, if you measure the folder height, which we did is 7 inches, so 3.5 is our middle mark. And thanks for putting your butt in my face, cat. I'll put a dot there. Kitty cat, kitty cat. So next, I'm going to ink this. It's still a little flimsy because of the wet. So I found these on AliExpress from the seller Go Craft. So I think I can use the smaller size on the crocodile. So I'm just going to eyeball the middle of my small 1/2 inch punch things and punch the hole in my folder. Ow. Tried to punch my finger. There, that looks so cute. So I'm going to go ahead, and I don't want this too tight, so I'm going to try to open the leggies. Try to make sure it's kind of loose because we're going to tie the twine around it underneath and tie it. And then we'll push the legs down a little bit more when we're done. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see. I'm not digging the green twine. Let me get something else. So I have this hemp cord. So the first thing I'm going to do is put it around underneath that cardboard like folder part and do an overhand loop and then do another overhand. So do 2 overhand loops so it's a double knot. So see how that kind of brings it up, and it does pull the legs tighter. So I'm just gonna push those down just a little bit more, trim this, and so that'll give us enough room to wrap the cord around it. And if it's not, then we can open up the legs on the inside a little bit to give us a little bit more room. So as far as wrapping, or how much you want to wrap around it, that's kind of up to you. I kind of do a little bit extra at first. So I do at least 2. Let's show that again. So I'm going down around, so 1, down around 2. This is where I would start to wrap it around. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it around a couple times. And so I want my charm about right in there. So if I have to loop it around again, that should be okay. So I'm just going to cut off a few extra inches for my charm. So we'll put this on here, kind of put it, so I already wrapped it around twice. So this is with nothing in it too. So maybe let's try to loosen it up just a little bit. Wrap it around twice. So kind of want it right about here. So I want it to be able to sit on the paper. So I'm just going to hold it there with my left finger and do an overhand knot, and with the right side tail, and just kind of move the knot down to the charm so it's not moving around too much. And then I'm going to tie it around again, and I am going to put glue on this just to kind of hold those. So I'm going to trim that off and leave a little bit of a tail. Don't cut too close to the knot. I feel like if you cut too close, it will loosen up a lot easier. And then I take whatever I have like left over like this little tiny piece, and just do it through the hole of the charm again and trim it off, so it's like just like a little bit of extra twine on there. I don't know, you don't have to do that. I did that on the other one and I thought it looked kind of cute, so I'm just putting a little bit of glue on there. You can add extra charms to this if you want. Totally up to you. You can do no charm, all the charms your heart desires. So it's wrapped up a little loose since I kind of wanted to leave enough room for putting things in, but let's look at it. It's so cute. But yeah, so we've got the 2 left pockets, the middle 2 pockets, and the 2 smaller pockets on the right side flap. So I made this to where the smaller flap is on the right hand side. You could put it on the left hand side if you like. It's entirely up to you. So what can you use this for? So you can make one for yourself. You can store some ephemera in it. Maybe if you're thinking about a project and you're getting some ephemera together, you could store it in it. You could do, I mean, you can do the pockets however you like. So I made them this specific way. You could do just small pockets and just do like a row for stamps here. You could do a horizontal pocket on this side too instead of this vertical style. This is the way that other girl did it and I really liked it. I thought it was super cute. You could decorate this paper as well. You could stamp on it, do whatever you like. There's so many possibilities with this. It's little, it's cute. And it's a project to use up those little folders and use up some of that single-sided scrapbook paper. I hope you love it. If you make it, I would love to see it. You can tag me. If you make a video, let me know so I can watch it. Would love to see it. And so on the other ones that I made, this one and my tester, which is a little bit bigger, I did some Tim Holtz sayings on them, which we could do that right now too. Okay, so while I'm gluing on this sentiment with these really tiny tiny letters, let's talk about the giveaway. So today is my birthday, January 24th. Yay! So I wanted to do a giveaway. So everything that is in that other butterfly folio, like I said earlier, is included in the giveaway, plus the butterfly die cuts I will show you here in a second. I don't want to pull everything out of the folio too, so you can kind of be a little bit surprised, but I'll tell you what's in it. So the giveaway starts today, January 24th, and will end January 31st. I will draw a winner after that. I have not determined what day I will draw the winner, but it will be after that. Please do not message me asking me when I will be drawing the winner. I wait a couple days after because people like to unsubscribe and unfollow after a giveaway ends, so I wait. Oh, that looks so cute. I think she'll love it. And then I'm going to fill this up with some goodies for her and have it ready for her birthday. And oh my gosh, is it March or April? I kind of think her birthday is in April now that I'm thinking about it. But at least, yeah, her birthday's in April. But I have it finished and ready to go because I am always behind on sending out my letters. So I wanted to make sure I have her birthday thing done. So these 2 packs of butterfly die cuts will be included, and then everything in here. This giveaway is for an active subscriber to win. I'm able to search comments and see where you have commented on a video. So if you are kind of a newer subscriber to my channel, make sure that you go ahead and leave comments on a couple of videos so that you're entered. This is for somebody that, you know, is commenting, is interacting with the videos. So I will be checking comments. How to enter: you will leave a comment on this video telling me you would like to enter. This is for US addresses only. I'm sorry, but things are a little expensive right now. So here it is, like I had showed earlier. I've got a bunch of the Tim Holtz dolls in here. These are vintage tickets. I have some whale tail tabs in here, so these you'll just fold in half to put over paper. I have some vintage bird illustrations, some vintage French papers from a book, some window die cuts, some tags. There's a few butterfly things in here as well. Some doilies, some little cards. There's a piece of this outside paper in here as well, and some washi stickers, and a gold doily. Tags. It's just filled with some cool stuff. I hope you love it. I will be drawing a comment after the 31st. I will be responding to your comment, letting you know that you have won the giveaway, and then you will email me your address or send it to me on Instagram. Check the description for all of the details for the giveaway. But I hope you love the folio. Like I said, if you make it, let me know. I'd love to see it. Check the description for all of the measurements. Like I said, make sure you like this video. To be entered into the giveaway, you have to be subscribed, so make sure you subscribe. Check out the Deck of Cards collab, where we are doing 2 different prompts every week. Join the private Facebook group. I love you guys, and I will see you next week for week 5 of Deck of Cards collab. I am off for some birthday fun today on my birthday, and maybe I'll get a piece of cake. I don't know. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Talk to you later. Love you. Bye.